Cosmos, we are the nerds that know. Smurf here and my heralds accompany me on all the knowledge that you need to know in the world of geekiness. The Heart Slayer herself, Lady Bobby, the effervescent and shiny little bright spot of all of our hearts, Tank, and the pedophile in training, Stache.
Wow.
In training. Who's training him, Smurf?
I deserve that. I did deserve that after previous references. I mean, I referred to all of you as pedophiles. It's only fair I get the same in return. Quid pro quo.
It's from a place of heart, of love, of gentle touching.
Wow. Okay, let's not. I'd rather not have the cops show up in my house.
It's just love, man.
All the NAMBLA members are knocking on Stache's door later tonight, but that's okay. We'll get through the podcast. We'll let you know what's going on across the geek sphere, because there's a lot that's gone on. We've been gone for a couple of weeks because of cons and conflicting schedules, but we're here to enlighten and entertain. And what better way to start this off and how awesome Red Notice was on Netflix. Oh my God. You need to watch this film regardless of what nonsense
wrong? How can you possibly be this wrong? Like, you have good taste in some things. That movie is fucking garbage.
It is not garbage. It's a fun heist film. The chemistry rocked, and Ryan Reynolds is awesome.
You love me. You really love me.
Acting. They're just being themselves.
And that's what's great about it. I can honestly say,
why is that a problem, Stache?
Yeah, is it because you just don't like The Rock so much?
I hate The Rock, but that's not the problem. What's the problem? It's not the only problem. The problem is that it is the most predictable and stereotypical movie ever.
I wouldn't say ever.
I would say ever. Okay.
Oh, dude, I was watching.
No, I called it like at the very, very beginning. Like I did.
Yeah, because everything was so stereotypical. Oh my God, a fucking rocket through a window? Are you kidding me?
That was in the previews.
Open door. And if you're gonna go on what was more predictable, I'm gonna say the Eternals was way more predictable.
Okay, hold on. Let's go back to Red Notice because I have an issue. Okay.
You have an issue? All right.
I enjoyed Red Notice.
Let's smash on one movie at a time, and then we'll dunk on them all together later.
Okay. I enjoyed Red Notice. I thought it was cute.
What's wrong with you guys?
Right? Like, I love Dwayne Johnson. I think he's hilarious. I enjoy Ryan Reynolds. I think he is fantastic. I enjoy Gal Gadot. I think she's lovely. However, when they're in the vault, right, and they're getting ready to get into the ass-kicking fight, why, for the love of all that is good and holy, does that bitch who is combat trained take her hair down?
That actually is a relevant question.
That is a relevant question.
Right?
And
so,
well, it would be more relevant if, like, she wasn't fake fighting. Oh, shit.
The only thing that I can say is it was the Charlie's Angels moment of the film. You know, the ass-kicking pose and the flowing locks.
No, actually, because I had this conversation with my boyfriend earlier. In one of the Charlie's Angels movies, and I can't remember which one, right? There's a scene where, like, the long hair, right? And Lucy Liu grabs a chopstick, and she goes like this, and then she puts her hair up, and then she continues with the ass-kicking.
I'm pretty sure it's the first one, because I remember that scene, and I've only seen one Charlie's Angels.
Right? But she actually puts her hair up to ass kick.
And so does basically every female protagonist in every movie ever.
Yeah.
Right? And what does this bitch do? Takes her hair down.
She's literally trained in combat.
She is literally trained in combat.
Seriously, like, she was a decorated Israeli combat.
Her in that swimsuit made the entire movie for me.
At the end? Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, this is the best thing ever.
I mean, she's just hot.
If
Like,
I would have been watching it with my roommate, I would have rewound it. Not gonna lie.
There were some great moments with her. I mean, even in the red dress, it was like, God Almighty. I just.
it was a very Mr. and Mrs. Smith moment with them with the dance.
It was. But you know what I liked? I liked that Ryan Reynolds wasn't totally full Ryan Reynolds. It wasn't Deadpool.
No.
It was kind of watered down Van Wilder, which I kind of enjoyed. The Rock was trying to be misleading, but we all knew what was going to happen. It was a fun little heist film that I had no expectations, and I was thoroughly entertained. I
did like the little Nazi bit at the end.
Yes, I like the end too.
It's like my freaking roommate and I were calling out scenes 20 minutes before they happened, and we didn't miss a single one.
I agree with you. I called every little thing, especially when he was like, okay, in the shower scene with the soap. I'm like, oh yeah, so that's exactly what he did. I knew how he was going to get out. I saw it when he placed the rock. Okay, I know how that's going to work. There was nothing but telegraph in this entire film, and I didn't care. I really didn't care.
It didn't matter that it was predictable. It was still adorable.
It was fun.
It was enjoyable.
Yeah,
It was not enjoyable.
I wouldn't have paid for the theater for it, but at least, it was something that was entertaining. It was a little.
It was good for a free movie, basically.
It was good for a free movie. Absolutely.
It was like, nice to have on in the background while getting some other shit done.
While you were getting nailed by someone. That is the only way this movie is okay. In the background.
Okay, so better or worse than Ocean's 13?
I would say
comparable.
No, Ocean's 13 was way worse.
I don't know, man. Because
Okay, so 12 then.
12 is still no. Ocean's 12 is the worst of the three.
Yeah.
That's why I'm narrowing it down a little bit now.
Yeah, still better than 12.
Well, I figured it'd be better than 12, but is it worse than 12? Or
It is.
is it the other way around?
Yeah, no, it's better than both 12 and 13.
it's not better than 13.
It's comparable to 13.
Okay.
I would say it's
It's
slightly
worth
better
watching
than
once at
13.
least, right?
It's worth watching once for a heist film. It's
Okay.
fun. I know a lot of people are comparing it to the Zombies heist film that just came out.
Oh my
the
God,
one
that
the
was-
prequel
that
they
was
did that they released 3 months after they released the main movie.
Yes. So I mean, it's still fun. It's still predictable. But at this point, how do you do an original heist film? At least there was no like Fast and Furious references. It was cool locations, something different.
Really? Are you trying to tell me I'm gonna jump over a canyon twice to make it to a helicopter wasn't a Fast and Furious scene? That was
There wasn't a car involved.
Fast and Furious
Hey,
playbook.
there were no
There wasn't
cars
a
in
car.
space.
That's because he was jumping to a helicopter. It was so stupid. I was like, we're doing this
Don't
again?
like The
You
Rock.
literally just did this.
I mean, he did catch a helicopter with a rope, so I believe it.
It is The Rock.
Oh my God, I hated this movie so much.
You just don't know what real good fun is.
Is that just because you hate The Rock so
I
much?
appreciate movies that are just fun.
No,
This
here's
movie
the thing.
was not just fun.
Now, Stache does not feel about Dwayne Johnson the way Smurf feels about Tom Cruise.
Yeah, but it's close, isn't it?
No, because Stache will still watch a Dwayne Johnson film.
Like, reluctantly. But
The point is, you will watch them. Smurf,
Yeah.
what was the last Tom Cruise film that you watched?
Samurai.
God, that's a bad way to end that fucking category.
That was out of duress. That was
I
only
just want you to watch Edge of Tomorrow because it is such a good movie.
The premise of the movie is really good. It's actually worth watching it, even if you hate Tom Cruise.
I know.
The premise is actually pretty cool.
Tropic Thunder, which I hear is a great comedy. I'll never watch.
Okay, you don't even notice that it's Tom Cruise, though.
Don't care.
That's unfortunate.
You know what?
Yeah, because that movie's amazing.
Just
It
because
actually
the
is.
restaurant changes its name and it still has the same chef in the back, fuck that guy. I am not going there. All right, I don't care.
You gotta watch
Tom Cruise is
Tropic Thunder because it's the last accepted blackface in American cinema ever.
That's true.
not gonna go see it.
And it's literally self-referential about it.
Oh, it's brutally honest about how ridiculous it is.
No,
Yeah. It's oh god, that movie's amazing.
no.
See,
Nope.
I'm not stupid like Smurf. I'll at least like watch movies with an actor I don't like sometimes.
I'll go to movies I don't like the actors. Sure, I just draw the line. It's Tom Cruise. It's the only unbendable rule I have. No Tom Cruise films. Sorry.
So, okay, one thing about this movie, when The Rock is wearing his mask, doesn't he
Okay.
straight up look like a penis? An
He totally looks like a
uncircumcised
penis. He totally looks like a penis. That's all I can think of. Is like, oh look, he looks like a dickhead. That's great.
Okay, so
Hashtag
Wow,
Dwayne Johnson is dickhead.
Rock / penis head.
I mean, they make jokes about that, but that's the only time you really see what people are talking about. And you're like, wow, he really does look like a dickhead.
Does it looks like
He is the
wow.
Rock.
That was actually like kind of my favorite part of the whole movie, besides the bikini scene, because that was a lot of hip that she showed, and I was all about it.
Getting all horned up.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll see a sequel to this film.
Oh, there's no doubt. So I was looking up articles for it, so we could talk about it. And people are the number one searched thing regarding this movie is when the sequel is going to come out on Google.
I believe that.
But
It's
the
The Rock.
interesting thing about this movie is like it's a terrible movie, but it is Netflix's most viewed movie over
It's
the
The
weekend.
Rock.
Like it's still well, it's because this is the problem I have with the film. Like one of the core problems is it's because this isn't a movie. It is merely The Rock and oh my god, how can I not remember his name?
Reynolds.
Yes, Ryan Reynolds. It is just a show.
It wouldn't
All
even
right.
matter.
You guys are breaking up really bad. Hold on.
I think that's you, yep.
But
No, it's literally a showpiece for them and not their acting. They're like actual human characters. And it's like, it's not a film about anything but that. And it's like that people are seeing it in obscene quantities for that one reason. And it makes me angry because it's like, there's no reason for this film to be as successful as it is. Because it is not a good
Yeah.
it is so tropey.
So, 4.2 million visitors between Friday and Sunday.
Stache is wrong.
It had 150 million watch hours in 4 days.
Yeah, I know.
Considering it's a 2-hour movie, that's a lot.
I know. I'm well aware of how successful it is, and it is clearly driven by just those two
It's
actors.
just The Rock, he is the highest earning actor in Hollywood because people just go to his movies. It doesn't matter if it's going to be good or bad. They go to his movies.
It's entertaining. It's absolutely entertaining.
He's
Good or
wrong.
bad.
Because he's very charismatic.
He's not.
Oh, okay. See, that there, I will disagree with you. The Rock may literally be one of the most charismatic people to ever exist. He
That's
can sell anything.
Can you smell the charismatic cooking? That's right, baby. The Rock shows up, things start to sizzle.
Like even Vin Diesel's kissing his dick right now to try and get him back into Fast and Furious.
He's got that one knee approach to the left butt cheek, just a little. Please. I like the chemistry Ryan Reynolds and The Rock. It's great. It's fun. It's quippy. It's quick.
I thought that they, played opposite each other very well.
And I'm sure it took a lot of takes to get what we got. I'm sure they fucked up for the majority of this film. It's like an Adam Sandler, reunion where everybody gets together for Grown Ups 5, and it's just basically them fucking her off. And that's basically what I saw on the screen, and it comes through in a fun, no emotional tie baggage film, and I'm good. And again, I'm right. Stache is wrong, and the millions around the world prove it.
From the perspective that we're talking about it, it makes me want to see it because every once in a while, there doesn't have to be an understandable plot. There doesn't have to be an interesting story. Sometimes mindless, shit-headed shenanigans with guns and money is fun.
And a hot chick kicking everybody's ass in a slit that goes the way up to her navel.
There is a reason that there's 3 Expendables movie, and it's not because Sly can act, okay?
And Jason Statham, as much as a sex symbol as that man is, he cannot carry that franchise.
No, and he can't fucking act either. So,
So there you go. Red Notice, it's a win. Go watch it.
It's not a win.
Another movie that's absolutely not a win is The Eternals. It is probably one of the worst filmed, shot, fought, executed Marvel films to date. And Ten Rings, in my opinion, kicks its ass.
Ten Rings does kick its ass.
Ten Rings is great. Eternals is lame. We have an hour and a half of introducing characters that we don't give a shit about. The only character, there's 2 characters. There's the staple, which is Icarus, which they fucked that up. And Sprite, which is a Neil Gaiman character that was created in the early aughts. Those are the 2 characters that are probably the most recognizable, and Sprite's probably the best character. Icarus, they just kind of waste. And Cersei and Icarus have the same face through the entire movie. There is no emotion coming through this acting. It is dreadful. It is boring. God, I just wanted something to happen to wake me up. And
I hate to fucking agree with Smurf after he's so wrong. Previous movie, but this movie was a trash fire. It was worse than like poorly acted, poorly executed, uninteresting characters. It was just fucking boring.
Yeah.
It was boring.
2.5 hours of being bored, and it's like the main plot reveal at the end was so predictable that it wasn't even
okay. Well, that is, we're gonna excuse that because it only really has one direction to go.
Yeah, to be fair, but and then the ending of the villain bad guy was super boring. It's
it's writing. I was so pissed off at the final resolution. It's lazy writing. I think it's and I don't want to get chastised for this, but I think it's also influenced by the political environment. One less white guy. We got diversity. I love diversity. We've got open marriages. We've got all these different components that is going on in the Eternals, and it's just lackluster. And it's just lazy writing, and it's shot so. I honestly thought the door to the projector room was open because the film was so washed out. I paid extra on an IMAX screen to get wowed. I got wowed, all right. Wow, this sucks.
Well, that's your fault. I paid $1.64 to see this at the Alamo, and I was like, well, I'm glad I didn't pay $2 for it because I would have been pissed.
Yeah.
So nothing good with Ajax or Faustus or...
Nope.
I will say the initial villains were interesting, and I thought that dynamic was going to go a lot more interesting, but
predictable. It was absolutely thought it was.
Yeah, why do that when you can do the most predictable and stereotypical thing of a superhero movie?
I mean, we've got evil Superman.
It was literally just the boys again, and I was like, this is exactly why The Boys works. Is because shit like this exists. So the foil that The Boys represents is so good and so strong and so interesting because stuff like this.
Yeah.
And it goes to show how much, like, you don't think Marvel movies have advanced, but they had. And it's like now they're reverting back to what they were at the beginning, and that's a serious problem.
Well, and I think that's the mouse. I honestly think this is all Disney issue driven because we didn't have this beforehand. And I even read an article, I think it was in the Post, where they're like, just stop the MCU now. Stop before it gets any worse. Just let it be done because it's only going to get worse from here on out. We have maybe Spider-Man will be somewhat redeemable. Guardian, since James Gunn is back, might be good. And I had a
Shang-Chi was awesome though.
Shang-Chi was great, but
minus
I think
overly done the overly done dragon fight. I think a little bit too much.
I would also say it's getting predictable. That's the problem. Marvel movies are getting so predictable.
Okay, but here's the thing, Stache. All comic book
story.
movies are going to be predictable because they're already based on source material that everybody knows.
That's not true.
Well, and it's a hero story. And in the Marvel comics, it's a hero story, which means the hero will win.
Mm-hmm. But there's interesting paths you can do that by. And it's like they have done that very successfully with movies. Like, look at Black Panther.
Well, and
like,
then
that
was Shang-Chi was a Kung Fu movie.
I know, it was. And it was
done pretty well. Like, the Kung Fu, the martial arts, the fight on the bus was insane. How they did the tracking shots from the exterior of the bus.
Oh, yeah.
That was beautiful.
Sorry, I was like, I've only seen that movie once, and it was a while ago. I was trying to remember the bus scene, but I remember.
You might be right in your they're going to drop a dud, and it sounds like Eternals is the dud.
Well, and here's the thing. We all knew Eternals was a filler film.
But it shouldn't have been.
Shouldn't have been.
Here, in my
Too many
opinion,
characters, too many interesting dynamics to explore.
I don't know if I don't know if it's too many interesting dynamics, but I think it might be premature in its placement. I think them trying to rush into the cosmic aspect without really any understanding groundwork hindered it. And I think the story is predictable and stupid. There's so many. I mean, you could have pulled more material from Neil Gaiman's run, not just bringing in the Sprite character, but expanding.
And that's what they were saying is that it was based on the Neil Gaiman run.
Yeah, I remember doing that too.
Not exactly.
It wasn't.
No.
It was a lot more of the Jack Kirby run.
There's more of the Kirby run in there, and it's not done well. It really isn't.
That's unfortunate.
It sucks. It really does. And it's not and I'm not saying this because I don't like the Eternals.
You hate the Eternals, but if you're saying, but you also turned around on Shang-Chi, Guardians. You turned around on something that's interesting.
Yes, and Shang-Chi completely redeemed itself.
But if you're saying the Eternals is just boring and slow moving and pointless, then
I honestly was waiting for something to happen to wake me up because there's that whole scene in like the village or in the forest that they're just talking and talking, more talking. God, still talking. Fuck! Can we stop talking? Can we just do something else? Fuck, for crying out loud! I don't care.
And then something actiony happens, and there's no stakes or consequences.
so Lord of the Rings.
It's
Lord of the
Rings
had a body count.
Yeah.
Eventually.
The Battle of Hell.
2 hours to get there.
Yeah.
Boromir literally died at the end of the first movie, so.
Yeah, the only thing is Sean Bean.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's redeemable about the film are the 2 end credit scenes.
Yeah, I've heard those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we get introduced. So, and I think one of the things about Icarus and his story, he's another Game of Throneser, and I think, and someone had the theory that maybe there's too many people from Game of Thrones because we have Kit Harington, who is the Black Knight, who is an Avenger. He's kind of like the second wave of Avengers. He's It's heavy in the 80s and 90s. So we get the Ebony Blade, we get that big reveal, which is kind of cool. The second reveal is probably far more interesting, as in we get Thanos' brother Star Fox, who is also an Avenger.
No shit, we get Star Fox?
Yep, Star Fox pops up, which is very cool. Who is also technically an Eternal.
Yeah.
So because they build the Eternals out as robots, which is incorrect.
No, they're not robots.
They're not, and that was another
artificial beings.
No.
They're the keepers of humanity, essentially.
Yes. So when they kind of bill them off as robots, they're not robots. Star Fox.
No, I mean, let's be fair. They portray them more as something like Vision than they do robots.
Well, Vision's interesting.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. The lore they were setting up, it had the elements of that interest, but they didn't fully execute it. So it was just kind of like it can be reduced to their robots.
And that's how they kind of played it off.
All right, Bobby, what's your perspective on this movie?
I'm sorry, what?
What was your perspective on this movie? Since we've been taking up the entire discussion here.
I figured you guys were just going to keep going. I was doing my own thing. I thought that the end credit scenes were really the best part of the film. I went and saw it with someone who was a very big Game of Thrones fan. And so they were very, snickering throughout the entire film about the fact that there were two of the Stark brothers who were in love with a girl named Cersei. And I had to explain to her that the name Cersei was not created by George R.R. Martin. Neither was it, initially done. She's like, the writers of this film. I was like, no, maybe the casting director had a little fun with it, but I assure you that they did not name her Cersei specifically because they have Game of Thrones characters or actors in this film. But all in all, I thought that it was way longer than it needed to be.
That's not great.
It felt like a very long movie. When we saw Endgame, like, I didn't even get up to pee during Endgame, right? 3 hours. We were just there and didn't want to move. We actually have a comment coming in from one of our viewers right now that says we're getting Black Knight versus Blade that we got from one of the cutscenes at the end, which they say is the best part of the shit show, which was the Eternals movie.
True story.
So
versus.
Well, Blade's in the background, and I think we're gonna see a fight. So that might be accurate.
I wonder what.
Can I ask a question? Who is Ebony Blade? I've never heard.
That's the name of the sword.
It's the sword.
I know it's the guy with the sword, but
no.
That's the name of the sword.
Ebony Blade is the sword.
His name's the Black Knight.
Yes.
Okay. I've never heard of that character before, so.
Dane Whitman is the Black Knight. He is a descendant of King Arthur's court. He carries the Ebony Blade, which is a cursed relic. So when he picks it up, he basically wants to kill people. And it puts him in this rage state to just basically wipe people out.
Yeah, it's a berserker mode kind of thing.
Basically.
Okay.
So when he took the blade and you see like that movement on it, that's basically the curse or whatever's inside. It's basically like a soul sucker if you're, a D&D person. So it's a pretty impressive weapon. He can transfer dimensions. He can do a lot of teleportation with the sword. It's a badass weapon. But he's from King Arthur's time, and it's really cool. And I hope they explore the Black Knight's history and everything with the character, especially with the curse. I'm curious to see how they.
It's one of the reasons the birthday present, the ring, was such a big deal.
Yes, because that was his family crest with the Pegasus and the knight. Yeah, and I didn't catch it right away until later, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's a Black Knight.
Yeah. So Mark was on my other side when we went and saw the movie, and he leans over. He's like, "Do you know what that is?"
I like it. He's sitting there in the leather jacket and the red scarf, which is kind of like his last ensemble when he's part of the Avengers. That's like his last costume because he has the night gear underneath the leather jacket and the red scarf. So it's kind of a nice throwback to the comics.
But we got Mahershala Ali's first appearance.
No, just the voice.
Oh, just the voice. He didn't actually show up. Oh.
Yeah, so just his voice.
All right.
So
And we got Star Fox. That makes me excited.
yeah.
Star Fox and Pip the Troll.
And Big Patrol. Well, that's interesting. Why?
Yes. That's kind of what I was wondering. I don't know if they're trying to put the Infinity Watch together because Pip usually is with Warlock, and with Warlock,
well, we just got told who Adam Warlock is, so maybe.
I think we're going to see that connection come together because Pip kind of becomes Warlock's partner and sidekick.
I
And
didn't think about that, but they just did announce Adam Warlock, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
so it's perfect setup. We'll see.
yeah. So well, since we've been comparing 10 Rings to Eternals, let's go ahead and jump over to Disney Plus and the Disney Plus Day and all that entailed, to include the fact that some of us were able to finally watch 10 Rings, but many other things happened as well. So everybody had something different they wanted to talk about a little bit for Disney Plus Day. So whoever wants to pop up first, go ahead.
Moon Knight. Oscar Isaacs. That looks like it's going to be a pretty cool, because they're not taking a straightforward approach. They're taking the is he crazy approach, which makes me happy because they're good. That means they're probably going to be dealing with the idea of the multiple personality disorder thing that
Cool.
Mark Spector seemingly has. And it's not just going to be a Batman and white costume show. It's going to be an exploration of why he thinks he's going crazy and why he's hearing voices and why those voices change his personality. It looks interesting to me. And the way that they're kind of pushing it, it looks like they're really going to push that narrative of why is he hearing different voices.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I wonder if it's his psychosis, if it's the moon god.
Yeah, Khonshu.
Yeah, I'm curious because I like that we're coming in at the halfway point with him. I don't want his backstory. I don't care because is he a mercenary? Is he cursed?
Well, that's the biggest problem is he has 15 different identities and we don't know which one's real.
Yes. So I'm kind of cool. I mean, even when he was Marvel Knights, he was a rich billionaire that had like tons of money, so he funded vigilantes. But he didn't put on the Moon Knight costume, and it was a running joke through the Marvel Knights series. It's actually kind of, but we'll see.
Yeah, that one makes me excited because it's something different, you know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. It was probably the most unique looking thing they showed.
Yeah. We actually, from one of our viewers, we have "Give me Moon Knight" all caps and like 5 exclamation points.
Be careful what you wish for.
He is one of the more interesting characters if treated with respect. He is incredibly dull and boring if not.
He is obscure, and unfortunately, he has suffered from Carol Danvers syndrome, which is, C-level player, and they continue to just muck with him because they can't get it right the first time.
Well, then they tried to powerhouse him against the Avengers with the Khonshu storyline.
Which is ridiculous. But if there's one character that has the most untapped potential, I do throw in Moon Knight. Absolutely.
That's one of the better ones.
We'll wait and see what happens.
Stache, what do you got?
Oh, I was just really intrigued by the unveiling of all the IMAX cuts of the Avengers movies.
Yeah, the fact that they're actually doing the IMAX releases.
Yeah, they're doing them all on Disney Plus, which is really impressive for those who can stream at that high quality.
Yeah, if you got a 4K TV that's nice and,
if you have this, well, the impressive thing for me is the sound design for those, because the sound design for the IMAX theaters is incredible.
Now, aren't they using the Dolby Atmosphere one?
Yeah, they're using Dolby Atmos, and it is. I definitely don't have Dolby Atmos outside of my video game headphones, but
that's still might be worth it, honestly, just throwing the headphones on and doing it that way.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm very intrigued to see if maybe this is promoting a bump in the quality of all their stuff they're going to put on there for Disney Plus, because it'd be nice to get a good quality bump up from Disney, because right now I still feel like they're trying to bribe people to stay with their service because it isn't quite worth it. Right. And that's what Disney Plus Day was like. Oh, here are the reasons for you to stay. It's like, one of these will appeal to you, and we'll hopefully keep Disney Plus, your Disney Plus patronage, until something like this comes out.
Well, I feel like my dad especially has that like 500-inch curved, TV with like the crazy sound system. So he's definitely the place to watch the IMAX movies. Tank, how big is Dad's TV?
The one he currently has is 65 inches.
I thought it was bigger. I thought he gave that one to Mike.
Oh, it might be 70 then. I don't remember. It's big. It takes up an entire wall.
Yeah.
So I'm like Stache. I'm down for the audio. I've got a 8.2 surround sound system that has never really been completely, utilized from a streaming service. So to hear IMAX is actually throwing the audio out for a change. I'm going to get its own dedicated internet line. Test it out. Terabyte up and down. Oh, fuck yeah. Let's go. My best takeaway from Disney Plus, not only Secret Invasion with, the Grizzly Nick Fury. We'll see what happens, because I'm trying to figure out where Marvel is going, whether it's Secret War, Secret Invasion, or just a secret. Was Voyt Plus Day. The boys took pot shots at Disney Plus on Disney Day about Voyt Plus, and it was awesome. It gave the mouse a big finger. They have Homelander, Lamplighter, even the Deep talking about Voyt Plus Day. It was hilarious. And then the boys chime in like they're hacking the signal, and that was the high point for Disney Plus Day for me.
Was the mocking of Disney Plus Day?
Yeah, by the boys, not by just anybody. It's not like the Simpsons with their cutesy little Homer Simpson getting drunk with Goofy. No. It's the boys.
That was funny though.
It was kind of fun. I did laugh, but you've got Carl Urban in there taking pot shots. Homelander's in like a regular T-shirt with his natural dark hair, talking shit about the Deep, talking about the Dolphins. Lamplighter keeps getting cut off. It is pure chaos. It is so much fun. I loved it.
I have yet to see that clip, but you have me highly intrigued.
It's pretty funny, actually.
We will find that clip and put it up on our page.
So worth it. What else we got?
What else?
So,
anything else from Disney Plus Day that you really wanted to talk about? Ahsoka's series.
Bobby, what thing you enjoyed?
No, it's all right. Stache, what were you saying?
The Ahsoka series. I mean, that was another intriguing thing. So,
What was that?
I don't know. I mean, the Ahsoka series. Disney is so secretive when it comes to the Star Wars stuff that it's almost not fun to speculate because they give you. I mean, I was waiting for the Obi-Wan trailer that they were like Obi-Wan trailer. It was like a sizzle reel with some behind the scenes, and Ewan McGregor is excited to work with Hayden Christensen again, and that was their idea of a trailer. That just pissed me. I was just like, fuck you, Mouse. Again, hashtag fuck you, Mouse.
I support that hashtag. It's just one of the things I'm intrigued with. Bobby, did you have anything you wanted to mention?
Just some of the new movies that they're talking about. The one that looks the most interesting to me is The Princess, which they're saying is John Wick meets Sleeping Beauty. It's supposed to be like this badass princess who basically saves herself. Like Smurf is saying, Disney is being very hush-hush about any details for anything. But anywhere in which the princess is, the action star herself makes me interested.
I mean, Wreck-It Ralph did have some serious criticism in that movie. And they made an amazing scene.
Well, this is a live action.
I know. I'm just saying,
this isn't a Vanellope thing.
Okay.
Although Vanellope is lovely.
All right. I don't think I have anything else I particularly was intrigued by Disney Plus, but
okay.
All right. Video game talk?
Sure. Let's pop over to Xbox and their 20-year anniversary.
Yes, Xbox this Monday was celebrating the 20-year anniversary of the original Xbox. And they did so with about a half-hour-long presentation that was just kind of talking to some of the devs and stuff like that, some of the history and the focus of what Xbox has become. And at the very end of it, they actually had a scene with the fucking Rock in it, because the Rock helped pioneer the original Xbox.
Yep, he was one of the first presenters.
Yep. I was very upset to see that. I was like, this fucking guy.
Oh, too funny.
And it was literally the picture of him in the hall from the movie. It was, oh god, it was terrible. But it was only about 26 minutes, and at the very end, they dropped Halo's Infinite's multiplayer, which isn't supposed to come out until early December, and they dropped it just as a way of celebrating the 20 years of Halo and Microsoft. It was a wonderful presentation and such a surprise.
They do like a fan fest trivia thing I heard about. Like they did a couple things with the community and stuff like that. And
yeah, they had a couple of people who met their online friends for the first time, which I thought was really interesting, because that's what Xbox is really encouraging is gaming with people, and gaming being focused around building communities and interactions with people. They talked a lot about their I can't remember the name of it, their handicapped controller.
Oh, the one that kind of looks like an arcade controller, the white one with the
pads. Damn it, took the life of me. I can't recall its name, but they talked a lot about just where their company is going and how they've evolved, and they confirmed the Halo series, which television series, which is going to premiere on Paramount Plus next year. They actually showed costume and people in like a Master Chief outfit. Then of course they did the Halo reveal, the big Halo reveal. I mean, they packed a lot of stuff into a very short presentation, and they did a great job of it too. It's like it was fast, it was quick, everything hit right, and they didn't like linger on anything too long, and then they finished. And that's exactly what you want from a presentation like that. I didn't want to waste 2 hours watching it, but 26 minutes, that's my lunch break.
Yeah, I don't care about them walking up the stage. I don't care about the music. Just give me the info dump and get the fuck off. And we got that.
That's what she said.
Yeah. It's like, but then the dropping of the Halo beta, multiplayer exclusively beta, was very interesting to me because I was like, this is. It's kind of fucking over Battlefield quite a bit because Battlefield drops on Tuesday, and Halo.
I heard they're reading it already. Yeah.
And Battlefield has been reviewing quite terribly, and Halo reviewed exceptionally well, and it's very good. Like I played all day on Tuesday, all day after work on Tuesday, and I had a great time. I got my teeth kicked in because I haven't played a shooter in 2 years, but it's like it started coming back towards the end of the night. And I still had a great time regardless, and that's the important thing.
I played the Battlefield beta, and it was not great, so I'm not surprised.
It's clunky. I didn't like it.
Very clunky. Vanguard was much better, which is upsetting to, I'm sure, all the Battlefield fanboys. But Vanguard was so much better than Battlefield.
Yeah. And it's like, I've heard Vanguard isn't doing super well because people are tired of the whole World War II setting. But, I mean, we have the 3 biggest shooters out there, and they're coming out in 3 weeks. Like a 3-week period.
Yeah, Vanguard's out. Halo's out now.
Vanguard was out 2 weeks ago, and then we had Halo, and then we have Battlefield.
It's next week, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
it's
I
either
get
Friday or next
the holiday.
Remember what?
I believe it's Tuesday, but
Yeah, it probably is. That's typical video game release day. But it's like, if you were looking for shooters, there's an abundance of riches right now. And then right before this, they had Forza come out. Like, Microsoft is hitting on all cylinders right now. And it's nice to see them finally turning shit around after the rough few years they had.
Yes. Even Guardians. Guardians is a great game.
I have heard like mixed things, but even the people who don't really love it say there's like some really cool things in Guardians, and the sound design is impeccable.
Yes. Sound design's great. Character design is fun, and I like the rally music aspect of it. So Guardians is I really like it, and that's not just because I'm a Guardians fan. Because
on the next,
that heavily encourages it.
Well,
Xbox did their their final backwards compatibility drop, right?
yeah.
Yes, it was. They dropped 72 more games for backwards compatibility, and they get FPS boost. And they said they were done before they did this one.
Oh yeah, this was their last one. Oh, and they came out and said this is going to be the last one.
Yeah.
The rest of it, it's licensing issues, it's contract issues that they can't do shit about. So.
Yep. And it is incredible that they're putting so much work and effort into something like this.
Yeah.
It's like
Shows a respect for the players, to be honest.
It does. And it's like PlayStation doesn't treat their players as well as Xbox. And granted, the reason Xbox does that is because they didn't have the games for so long.
Well,
so they had to drive their players in another way. But now the games are starting to roll out, and they're only going to continue to come out at this pace.
Well, they got to give you a value for that Game Pass, because that is not freaking cheap. That's
$180.
No, but it is
No, it's not.
such a good value.
Yeah.
You only can play so many games at once.
That's true. You can, and that's why I don't have Game Pass.
Well,
Because I've been playing Yakuza Like a Dragon since I bought my Xbox, and I'm still not done with the fucking platinum.
all right. While we're in the video game world, let's talk about the fact that Blizzard has had 2 employee-wide walkouts in the past, 6 months?
6 months. And it's Blizzard Activision, they're a hybrid company. And this one was actually inspired by a pretty big article revealing that the president of the company had knowledge that he swept under the rug of sexual allegations against a fair number of people. It's like, and it wasn't like, it wasn't harassment. There were literally accusations of rape.
Well, yeah, sexual assault ones also. Those popped up a little bit later in the conversation, but
yeah, it's like that was incredible. That you have a president like that is just sweeping all this shit under the rug because he doesn't want to deal with everything. That is completely unacceptable.
Oh, then you have the Washington football team.
I don't know what that means. The football reference.
Tank,
So
have I told you recently you're like my favorite brother-in-law?
Oh, shots fired. I mean, how much can you fine a billionaire? He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care.
$200 million didn't do it to Dan Snyder, so I don't know.
No, doesn't give a shit.
That's the thing. Until he is fired from the company and there's a complete redesign from the top down.
Well, and he can't because there is a board.
I don't know.
He's the CEO, but he can be voted out.
Yeah, which he should be after all these allegations and all the issues that they have had as a company over the past 2 years, because their games have been released partially done. It's like they keep shooting themselves in their own foot. Granted, I mean they're the Call of Duty company. They are one of the biggest video game companies that is independent in the world. And it's like
hilarious to refer to them as independent, but yes, technically,
yeah,
independent.
I mean, independent of a platform.
Yeah, they make more money than the U.S. government, but they're independent.
Yeah, and I mean, they're a big ass conglomeration that is independent of a specific platform.
I know. I just think it's
yeah, they always make so much money from Call of Duty. And I stopped playing Call of Duty years ago, but
they still make a shit pile of money off of what's
Vanguard?
No, not Call of Duty. What's the Blizzard one?
World of Warcraft?
World
of Warcraft. They still make a pile of money off
actually
that.
losing a lot of money lately.
It's
not nearly as popular as it used to be.
Yeah, but they're not losing money. It's
they're losing comparative profits. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say losing; they're just making
Generating
less.
Yeah. They're not making billions anymore.
Yeah. So let's not use the word losing money. Yeah. Let's just say making less.
And they still have Overwatch, which is
Overwatch is not going to slow down.
Yeah.
I mean,
people are really frustrated by them not releasing Overwatch 2 yet. And their weird idea that they're going to incorporate Overwatch 1 into Overwatch 2.
I think they have to at this point.
I mean, that's what they're doing.
Well, I mean, they're kind of taking the Warzone approach, because that's what Warzone did, is that they had the, Modern Warfare release, and then it went into Black Ops, and now it's going into Vanguard. And it's all the same game still.
Yeah.
They're just changing it aesthetically.
Yeah, they're updating it and stuff like that. It's just really interesting because I was never the biggest Activision fan, but I was a Blizzard fan. I mean, I love StarCraft, and I gave some time to Warcraft and Diablo. Diablo is the thing that made me love them. And it's like they just re-released Diablo 2, and I want to play that game so bad, but with the allegations and the walkouts and the problems they have been having as a company, I cannot give those people my money and have a clean conscience about it.
Understandable. See, what got me was the Activision side, because Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out at the perfect time for me to be a teenager. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It's like I put so many hours into that game with my friends.
Legitimately one of the best shooters ever made, still.
Yep. And it's a shame because I have these memories associated with that company. And unfortunately, I can't permit myself to deal with them and continue to support those developers I actually care about. Because there's some great people that work for companies like that. And it's not like all of them are bad apples. There's just a certain atmosphere in the companies, and a lot of people have been promoted because they are a specific demographic. One like myself, a white heterosexual male, and it created a very toxic atmosphere, and now they're suffering the consequences of it.
Well, and it's unfortunately suffering from the Cosby syndrome. Like when all that shit
They
went down.
literally had the Cosby sweep. Did you hear about that?
Yeah. And when all that shit went down with Cosby, they canceled the show. Like all of the reruns and everything like that, and that actually hit people financially that were not Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
And they were affected because of that. And it's like, well, that's the unfortunate reality of that situation, is when you are determined to, and there is no moral right or wrong in the situation, but when you are determined to take away your money from the head, sometimes the rest of the body gets hurt. And that's just how it goes. But it's, that is the one way that you can fight one of these giant companies, is to literally say, I'm not going to give you anything anymore.
That's why I refuse to go to Tom Cruise films.
Oh my God.
First tired of giving money to the Church of Scientology.
That's goddamn right.
And on that lovely note, we shall say goodnight. We will not be back next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, put that in your pipe and smoke it. But in the meantime, run fast, laugh hard, and always be kind. Good night.
We will not be back next week because we will be taking some time off to spend time with our families, because they are not allowed to escape us. And it will be Thanksgiving and all of that. Otherwise, we will be back the following week, because you're not allowed to escape us either. Mwah. See you then.